No break. Hi, I'm Anthony Sperduti, and this is Andy Spade, and we are Partners Spade. We formed the company in 2009. We are a downtown studio and storefront in Great Jones in downtown Manhattan. And we started it.
We started because we had worked in advertising for many years, and I had run Jack Spade and Kate Spade, and all these ideas just kept coming into our heads, and we didn't know where to put them. So we started this company so that we could actually create all the things that we thought about. If a client wasn't interested in an idea, we thought why don't we just do it ourselves? And so we created the company Partners Spade for that.
So some of the things that we always had a passion for, like film, over the course of the last year or so, we've done independent films with the film collective Red Bucket, Pleasure of Being Robbed, that went on to Cannes, and it was bought by IFC. Daddy Long Legs went on to Sundance. The documentary Paper Boys by Mike Mills are some of the film projects that we've been doing recently.
And a lot of these were short film ideas we had for brands. Paper Boys was born out of an idea I had for Jack Spade. We made a courier bag, and I thought, well, rather than buy an ad in GQ, why don't we make a documentary film? And so we took our marketing budget and actually put it into film, and the film actually went on and sold to the Sundance Channel. So we thought, wow, it can actually be a revenue stream. It's not just an expense. We can create things out of it. The Pleasure of Being Robbed was first a short film about stealing handbags, and became a feature film as well. So.
We also have a passion for publishing. One of our favorite books that we've done is Medical Professional Smoking, which is exactly what it sounds like. 30 fantastic pictures of medical professional smoking. We also have done books with HarperCollins, The Benefits of Looking Up, which were just iPhone photographs of balloons we saw caught in trees, or with the photographer Jason Goodman, A Girl's Bike, which was just cute girls around town that we felt needed to be photographed. Jason felt needed to be photographed, and books like Dirty Blinds and Dead Plants, because if we didn't do that book, I don't think anyone else would have.
So we self-publish books through Lulu, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. So if we have an idea, now with the iPhone, we take our own pictures and we publish them, and then we have a deal with HarperCollins, who came into our store and saw our self-published books and said, "Will you start making books for us?" So they are now publishing 6 books of ours. Based on their subjective thought of what's good and not good.
Product is something I also have a passion for. So last summer we, with K-Swiss, did a ping pong shoe, a limited edition ping pong shoe. We also have a service, trophies that we make called Backdated Confidence Trophies. If you have an insecurity, an athletic insecurity, we will backdate it for you so that you can gain the confidence that you should have and need.
So Anthony in 1974 lost the Kung Fu tournament, so we made up a first place trophy for Anthony.
And I feel much better for it. And then we also, some products we do for some of our clients, like Hudson's Bay Company, which is the oldest running company in North America. So we have a passion for making products as well too. And the last thing that we really have a passion for is performance. If you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, April 14th, the day before taxes were due last year, we hired a CPA to sit in our store, and for free he would perform and fill out your tax. And I can't believe that people actually till 8 o'clock at night had this guy filling out their tax forms for them and trusted us with our financial stability, which is mind-blowing. And we also had the painter Will Cotton for 3 weekends in our store. He had a temporary baking installation and sold macaroons. We had blindfolded gift wrapping for the holidays, so if you wanted, the 2 artists, Justin and Christine Gignac, they thought it would be a great idea, which it kind of was, to be blindfolded, and you'd take your gift to them and they would wrap it as best they could blindfolded.
They sat in the back and they had tape, ribbons, different colored wrapping paper, and they would just reach and find whatever they could find and then hand it back to you, which was really beautiful.
We also have something once a month or every 2 months. We have Avant-Garde Preschool in our store. We invite artists, like this weekend is going to be Thurston Moore having a dissertation on white noise. We have Donald Batchelor was the month previous, and we donate the money to a local public school. So we love the idea of happenings and performance. This is why we started Partners Spade, but because our backgrounds are in advertising, we love working with brands that we admire, or that there's an interesting marketing challenge. So these are some of the brands we've worked with in the last year: Absolute, Target, Hudson's Bay Company, AOL, K-Swiss, and J.Crew. Each of these we feel is a fun challenge there to be had, or we understand the brand well enough that we could add something to it.
So half of our business is the studio portion of the business, which is doing work for clients like these these clients. And the other half is our own business, which is when we can't find a client who likes an idea, we actually do it for ourselves.
And we have the one overriding philosophy when we do work with clients like this, and we believe that the bigger a brand gets, the smaller it should act. Another way we kind of manifest that is, for every accountant you hire an artist.
Yeah, nothing that's rarely has anything gotten bigger and become better. I mean, you get bigger and you get lazy and you start doing things, corporately. You take a model of one store and you repeat it 14 times or 100 times over. What we say is, if you're getting bigger, you have to really watch those details, because that's what happens to companies like Starbucks. It's happened to big companies like The Gap. Say, let's go back to the reason why you're in business and what can we do to make it special again. Treat each store, each experience as a one-of-a-kind experience.
So, the short case study that we're going to show you today is we worked with J.Crew for the last several years, and they had a problem with the perceptions of their menswear. The perception was generic lifestyle, preppy, 90s. Men weren't feeling, there was no talk value there to actually wearing men's clothing.
Yeah, fashion had evolved, and I think that people's perception, even though their product had evolved, people didn't know it, and so our job was to kind of communicate that to the world.
This was, the perception a few years ago of the men's with khakis and blue shirts, and in fact, what they were doing, they were actually making really beautiful, well-made clothing, but there wasn't a correct context or perception for people to really enjoy that. So we were asked to do something to help communicate this idea that the menswear has actually evolved. They're doing beautiful things. What should we do? And as a studio, they assumed we would come up with an advertising campaign, and what we did is we said you need a freestanding store that only is for men, and that really showcases like the best of your line. Edit out all the stuff that isn't real and interesting, and bring in other brands that you're carrying, and associate yourself with really great things, and do it the right way, and then build from there. So in our estimation, the best way to give a context to this brand, there was an old bar that Andy would get continually drunk at, Andy and I, in Tribeca, called the Liquor Store. This is a vintage shot of it. It's in a landmark building. It was originally a liquor store, then became a bar, and was vacant for the last few years. And what we thought is, keep it exactly how it is, and just put clothing in it, and you create an environment that men would want to go in and want to shop in. Simply what we did on the outside is we have no J.Crew signage on the outside. We reconnected the neon sign and left everything the exact same. For the branding, we treated this store as its own brand. We took the lettering from the sign and made that the logo. We had our artist friend Hugo Guinness draw a little man drinking and drinking. And tipsying over. And on the inside, we kept the bar the way it was, but we added a brass rail to hang ties. We refurbished the back bar area, and instead of putting alcohol there, we put ties and we put product. And we made it an environment, hopefully, that a man would want to go in and shop in. With the decor, we made it feel very cozy and like a living room or like a club. More like in the neighborhood, everyone was up in arms when people heard we were putting a J.Crew store in the Tribeca neighborhood. But when we opened, everyone was very happy. I mean, we really looked at what was going on in the neighborhood and kind of mirrored that. I mean, the Odeon is down the street. There's some great places there. And so we just made it feel like it was supposed to feel. And fortunately, we had a great client who said, I think that's great. But people really embraced it. It didn't feel like it was a big company. It felt like it was just a local store that opened up. And what's interesting is, even to this day, people are still surprised to see that it's a J.Crew store. And for us, in a way, that's a good compliment to what we set out to do, and it really has changed perception. One of the other things we did to kind of make this a beloved new institution, the liquor store, we partnered with the Strand, which is a bookstore that we all love, New Yorkers all love. And in the corner, there's a mini Strand bookshelf, and on the third floor in the Strand, they sell J.Crew ties. We did this little trade, but it was a way to kind of prove that we have some authenticity and love for New York City, and we're not just a large corporation. In the fitting room, it's literally the world's smallest fitting room, so we thought we would add to that claustrophobia and open a little gallery in there. So every few months, there are artist shows that we show in the fitting room, and they have a reception. And this first one was Michael Smelling, who's a photographer that works and lives in Tribeca. So it worked out really well, and it's another fun way for the store and for the brand J.Crew to, on a local level, interact with the neighborhood.
And the other one you see in the background there, that's an exhibition of exhibition catalogs from Soho in the 70s.
We also wanted to treat this not just as a store, but as a brand, so we wanted to make sure that we controlled the packaging, that we introduced product that was specific to that store, whether it be the darts or shot glasses. We also, we asked that we would be able to control who was hired at the liquor store, and so they didn't transfer someone else from another J.Crew store, but that we would hire interesting artists or musicians that we knew or friends of friends to make the whole atmosphere complete and feel very authentic. We also said if we're going to start claiming we're the authority on menswear and how men should act, we should publish a book called What a Man Should Know, and they did. And so we worked with the poet Max Blagg and wrote 50 entries on what a man should know, and that has also helped kind of round out the perception that we started changing for J.Crew. So there's three things that we feel that acting small for a large brand does. One, by acting small, a large brand garners the attention of independent thinkers and influencers in the media. This screen here, this is just some actually of the blogs and mainstream media that picked up the idea of the liquor store. And in our feeling, we would only have a small fraction of this if this was just another J.Crew store opening. By making it small and by making it personal feeling, that we gave permission to some of these people on the bloggers and writers to really write about it passionately. We don't feel they would have written passionately about a corporation, but they did about the liquor store.
Yeah, I think when you look at solving problems, formally in advertising, we would look at 5 or 6 ways to solve a problem, and it was print, outdoor, radio. What else is there?
I don't even know.
Now there's online, right?
Yeah, and online.
And other things. But we really looked at really the problem is for $15,000 you can rent a space or less than that and really create an entire environment. I mean, the music and the people working there, everything communicates. And a billboard can't do that, nor can a print ad. It's gone the next month. So even if the store lost money, which it has never done, it did so much to change the perception of the brand, and it was an experiment to see if it would work. Now it's rolled out, it's on Broadway. I'm sure if you haven't seen it, there's another version of it there, but it's working. So it's just in terms of marketing, advertising, the way we solve problems, it could be a book is the answer, it could be a film, it could be the answer, it could be a story, it could be nothing. And this is something, our first case study on it.
2, by acting small, we enable employees to take ownership and act on their own intuition. So we noticed that once we set up the context in the liquor store, their internal designers had all these brands that they had always loved, whether it was things they grew up with, like the Barracuda jacket or Globetrotter luggage or Converse, that they started bringing to the CEO of J.Crew, and there was an excitement about bringing in these brands to J.Crew because there was a proper context for it now. And it's actually really furthered their perception more. It shows that they're humble and they have a humility and that they admire brands that do, Globetrotter luggage does better luggage than a J.Crew would, and there's a humility in admitting that, and it enriches the brand, and it gives a lot of.
And they were doing this to a certain degree, but they never put it in the right context. It was in the kind of the basement of the Prince Street store, something like that. But to put it in one environment was really was enabled us to tell the story and highlight some of these things that were interesting.
And 3, by acting small, we change consumer perception and appeal to a new demographic because no one likes big. And we really feel this, the way the culture is trending and moving, that people don't want the same experience over and over again. They don't want to go into one store or one experience in one city and have it repeated. That there's a love for discovering new things and genuine things and authenticity. So we believe that really does change perception, and in J.Crew's case, it really has for their menswear. And one thing we want to end on, please remember acting small should be a continuous state of mind. We're constantly, for J.Crew and for other brands, thinking of how this philosophy rolls out. And so the last snowstorm a month or so ago, or 2 months ago, in Central Park, we've always noticed that kids would always bring cardboard, and they don't always have sleds to kind of sled down the hills. So on the last snowstorm, we bought about 100 of these plastic discs and stenciled on their crew cuts, their kids' lines logo, and just handed them out for free. There was for no other good reason than to create goodwill, and it did, and it was a really fun day. And I think we believe all these small things and large things adds up to a changed perception in a brand.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.